Hello aspirants, this lecture will be covering Southeast Asia for Prelims 2026. This will be somewhat detailed lecture, so stay tuned. Now, as usual, we'll be starting with the tectonic divisions of Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia is actually in two parts. One is the mainland Southeast Asia. The mainland Southeast Asia starts right in our neighborhood from Myanmar and ends at Vietnam. While the second part is the islands of Southeast Asia that starts from the city-state of Singapore and ends with the Indonesian islands. So first we study the how these are mostly formed. Now what you don't have to study about what plates are doing, you just have to get an idea as to why there are so many islands in the region and why some of the regions are hilly as well. Main reason is ocean collision which is happening across the board. So what does ocean collision give us? It gives us earthquakes, obviously. It gives us volcanoes, and that's the reason why Indonesia is full of volcanoes. There are more than 130 volcanoes in Indonesia. Third, we have island arcs, the entire Indonesian arc. And lastly, we have trenches. If you can guess where the Mariana Trench is, you will be surprised. When we think of Mariana Trench and other such deep trenches, we think they will be in the middle of the ocean, but no, they are actually very close to ocean or ocean-continent collisions. Mariana Trench, guys, is somewhere here, or must be here, where it is very close to the Philippine Sea, the deepest part of the world. So let's come to the mainland Southeast Asia, and we are covering right from our neighborhood in Myanmar. First is the Shan Plateau and these hills, Tenasserim Hills. All you have to know about Tenasserim Hills is that they form the Myanmar-Thailand border. Over, don't have to remember anything else about it. Shan Plateau is an important plateau of Myanmar. For us, it is important because this forms a boundary between the Irrawaddy and the Salween River, which goes from here. That's all you need to remember, because this is in relation to some of the uh, insurgent groups as well. We are coming to the insurgent groups quite soon, Arakan Yoma and the Khorat Plateau. Now, first of all, don't worry about these dots, blue and yellow dots here. Look what we've got. We've got the Naga Hills, we've got the other hills over here. It extends the Arakan Yoma. Now, these hills on the Myanmar side is home to, it is said that it is home to a lot of insurgent camps, and those create a lot of disturbances in the peaceful Indian neighborhood. Hence, being future civil servants, it is very important for you to have an idea about what is happening in this region. Now, geographically speaking, this extends down into the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. You need to remember Naga Hills, then there are Mizo Hills and other hills as well, Manipuri Hills, and they extend into the Arakan Yoma. Also important for the formation of Indian monsoons. Now, rivers. So this region, as it is a neighborhood of India, of course, we are all blessed with a good amount of rainfall and a good amount of rivers, albeit climate change. But what rivers do we have here? First of all, we have four very important rivers. What are they? Irrawaddy, Salween, Mekong, and the Red River. Very easy to remember, don't have to think a lot. Look at Irrawaddy first. Start somewhere in the Tibetan Highlands. Flows down. Remember Irrawaddy to the Irrawaddy dolphins into the forms a delta over here around Irrawaddy. Next is the Salween. So Salween also rises somewhere in the Tibetan plateau, and both of them fall in the Andaman Sea. Finally, we have the Mekong, one of the biggest and the largest rivers of Southeast Asia. In fact, the longest river of Southeast Asia. Again, this is starting in the Tibetan Plateau and ending in the South China Sea. And the Red River starts from the Yunnan Plateau of China, ending in the Gulf of Tonkin over here. The problem with the Gulf of Tonkin is that this is one of the very rare gulfs that we have in this region. So Gulf of Tonkin is there and it forms part of the uh, drainage basin of the Red River. Now, how do I remember Mekong River flows from which countries? We had a mnemonic for the Danube. We had a mnemonic for remembering all the countries of South America. Now we have a mnemonic for learning what countries does Mekong River flow from. What is the mnemonic? Cool monks love Thai cuisine very much. You will realize each of our mnemonic somewhat relates to the area. Like Danube 1 started with a German auntie seeing a very hungry cat. This one is cool monks love Thai cuisine very much. What does it translate to? Cool as in China, monks as in Myanmar, love as in Laos, Thai as in Thailand, cuisine as in Cambodia, and very much as in Vietnam. So if UPSC asks you, gives you a list of countries, numbers them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and tells you that which of these countries does the Mekong flow from, what you have to do is cover it. Do not look at the options first. Never look at the options in such questions. Cover it with your hand, write the mnemonic down, and then look at your options. If you look at the options first, it will create a confusion in your brain, and that will interfere with your mnemonic. So always remember, whenever you have such questions where you have to choose from the options given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever options are given, first and foremost thing you do is cover the options with your hand. Do not look at it. Solve it first in your head and then look at the options. Remember this. And this image, it's not an image made for fun. This image is so that your mind can relate Mekong with this image, a Thai food image over here. Keep on looking at these slides, keep on looking so that it fixes itself. So river borders are something which is extremely important and has been used with the Southeast Asian nations in a very efficient manner. How? Laos, Thailand thought that let's create Mekong as a boundary. They did so. Salween River was used by Myanmar and Thailand, albeit for a very short period of time, a short period of length, sorry. And Red River, also called as Song Hong, thought the same between China and Vietnam. Again, a very small portion, but still we will take it. So Indonesia. So when we see Indonesia, what do we see? We actually see ocean collision. And as discussed earlier, what does ocean collision form? It forms island arcs. It forms a lot of volcanoes. If you look at the volcanic map of Indonesia, it will be full of volcanoes, more than 130 active volcanoes, mostly because of the subduction of Indo-Australian plate. Now, Indonesia, remember, has very few land borders because it is at the end of the day an island arc. What land borders are we talking about? We're talking about Malaysia, East Timor, and Papua New Guinea. So over here there will be a connection. There is East Timor as well. Closest island to India is the Jakarta island. Sorry, is the Sumatra island, and Jakarta, the capital, is in the Java island. So remember, J for Java, J for Jakarta. So the island that has the capital city is not closest to India. What are we left with? Sumatra island. Now, another important thing about Indonesia are its seas and straits. There are the Strait of Malacca, right here. Again, a very important choke point. You must have already studied about choke points, and I have mentioned about choke points many times in our lectures, in the previous lectures. Choke points are those regions which carry substantial amount of maritime trade. Blocking any one of these points brings a big section of the world maritime trade to a halt. That's why protection of these straits is of utmost importance. One is Strait of Malacca. Then there is Sunda Strait between Sumatra Island and the Java Island. Third is the Lombok Strait. It is close to Bali. Now, Lombok Strait is also an alternative to Strait of Malacca because Lombok Strait is deeper, and a deep water creates navigation easier. That's why it is here. Now, Wallace line. UPSC can always ask what is the Wallace line. So when we are discussing the Wallace line, remember this is a line which separates Asia and Australia. So the portion on one side of Wallace line is Asiatic in nature. All the flora and fauna, that is animals and plants, are Asiatic in nature, while those that are south of the Wallace line are Australia in nature. That means they are more related to the fauna and flora found in Australia. Now, seas of Southeast Asia. So we have covered most of it as it is, but still, let's go ahead and cover it once more. There is the Andaman Sea between Myanmar and Malaysia. Then you have the South China Sea, again in a highly disputed region and becoming obviously important for UPSC. Philippine Sea, and you go down to the Indian Ocean and back up to Andaman Sea. Where is the Sunda Strait? Sunda Strait is here. Lombok Strait is somewhere here around the island of Bali, and Malacca Strait is over here. So once UPSC had asked about north-south arrangement of the capital cities of Southeast Asia. That's why I've given this. It will be better if you take a screenshot and just keep on looking and tracking them in the map. It will help you. Some facts are the only landlocked country in Southeast Asia is Laos. When we think of Southeast Asia, we think that the entire region is surrounded by oceans and seas and gulfs and straits. But Laos, unfortunately, is a country that does not see ocean. Laos is the only landlocked country in Southeast Asia. Second, we have the largest archipelagic state, Indonesia, and the only city-state in this subcontinent, sub-region of a continent is Singapore. That, guys, brings an end to Southeast Asia, and our final lecture will be on East Asia, and that will put an end to our world map or world tour. Thank you.